Who detained her? Answer.
Yes, in Mexico she was detained, and it was the topic of...
Who detained her? I am the president of all Mexicans, men and women.
Yes, but she also comes from a party. What message do you give to the female party members? Answer. Not all the questions in the morning press conference are easy for the government. In the middle of the official messages, some journalists have managed to put the military on the spot.
Now answer.
Claudia Sheinbaum, with direct questions that have caused tense moments, strong responses, and even signs of annoyance from the president. So in this video, I'll tell you about some of the most recent cases. There are few occasions when President Claudia Sheinbaum gives the floor to critical journalists, or those not aligned with the fourth transformation. However, when these journalists have the opportunity to question her, they usually use the opportunity to address uncomfortable topics, which has led to particularly tense exchanges. One of those moments happened when Dalila Escobar, from Proceso magazine, asked whether the fact that United States agencies do not share information with Mexico. In operations such as the arrest of Zambada, in which the participation of the FBI has been mentioned, it reflects a lack of trust toward Claudia Sheinbaum's government due to officials' alleged links to crime. The president responded with obvious tension, questioning who originally arrests the criminal leaders with whom some U.S. agencies later make deals, and she herself answered that those arrests have been carried out by the Mexican army. Likewise, Sheinbaum stated that if Mexico has arrested members of criminal organizations, it makes no sense to question the trust in the country's institutions. And she added that this issue is also related to national dignity.
Isn't it also a sign that the U.S. government might not trust Mexico when it comes to officials and collusion with organized crime?
No, because who arrests the person they later make deals with? Who arrested them? Mexico. That's the answer.
Yes, they were arrested in Mexico, and that was the issue.
Who arrested her? Who arrested him? The Mexican army. That's why Mexico. So how could they not trust the Mexican government if the Mexican government is the one arresting them?
Another incident happened with Judith Sanchez Reyes, correspondent for Perspectivas MX, who questioned the president about two Morena officials accused of alleged crimes. These are Tania Flores, former mayor of Musquis, accused of embezzlement, and Nancy Napoles, mayor of Tenancingo, who is allegedly accused of faking her own kidnapping to cover up a robbery. The journalist directly asked what her opinion was about these behaviors, considering that they go against the principles of the movement that the president represents. In response, Sheinbaum stated that the government does not protect anyone, but pointed out that in order to take action against anyone, it is necessary to have solid evidence. However, the reporter insisted and asked what message she was sending to Morena's members in light of these cases. Thus, the president, now visibly upset, interrupted her to clarify that it was not a message only for the party members, but for all Mexicans. Sanchez Reyes pointed out again that the president is also part of a political party, but Sheinbaum ended the exchange by responding that she had already made her position clear.
What message do you give to the party members and the citizens?
No, a message to Mexican women and men, not to the party members. I am the president of all Mexicans.
Yes, but you also come from a party, so in that sense, what message do you give to the party members?
I already answered. I give a message to Mexican women and men. We work every day for the safety of the people of Mexico.
In another press conference, journalist Hector Herrera asked the president what she thought about the public apology that El Universal offered to the family of Carlos Monsiváis, after publishing a fake interview in which statements about former President Andrés Manuel López Obrador were attributed to the writer. Regarding this, Sheinbaum described the publication as unspeakable and stated that those who spread this kind of content lack ethics and morals. However, the most talked about moment occurred when journalist Reina Ide intervened to mention the death threats received by the journalist who published the interview. In response, the president said that what happened at the newspaper was indefensible, and added that defending the journalist who published it was really tough. No.
Oh, look, Reina, honestly, defending that now is really tough. To start defending him now seriously, that's one thing, and this is something else.
Finally, Dalila Escobar once again asked the president a direct question, asking her if the assets of former Attorney General Alejandro Gertz Manero represent an example of austerity, considering the contrast with the living conditions of many Mexicans. In her response, Sheinbaum downplayed the issue by stating that Gertz Manero declared his assets and that the process was transparent. However, she avoided commenting on whether the extent of his wealth is compatible with the austerity message promoted by her government. In other words,
Don't you think that this is an example of what austerity should look like for representing Mexico abroad?
Well, it's his assets and he declared them. I mean, there's complete transparency on his part regarding his assets. It would be bad if he had assets that he didn't declare.
You don't see it as a problem at all?
Well, that's it. He makes it public.
what do you think? Do you think the morning press conference should allow more room for critical questions? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and enable notifications.